It's the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast with your hosts, the Wolf and Action Jackson, who are keeping rock alive by talking classic rock, hard rock, progressive rock, heavy metal, 80s music, early MTV, UK vs. US chart success, and much more. This is the home of classic album and live concert reviews and your place for interviews with artists and legends. You're rocking with the Wolf. Out there, rock and rollers. Welcome to episode number 275 of the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock Podcast. Brought to you by me, your host, Mac B. the Wolf, and I will be joined, as I always am, by my partner in crime from the East Coast of the USA, Mr. Gary Action Jackson. And we appreciate you tuning in lately. We've had a lot of incredible guests on. To start off February, we had Oliver Wakeman on First Concert Memories, talking about seeing his father Rick on Aaronson Bruford Wakeman and how in the U.S. Last week, we had Jay Shellen, drummer of Yes, coming on to talk about their upcoming UK tour, more new Yes music coming later this year, and a return to the U.S. Then our latest First Concert Memories, we had Godfather of heavy metal, Brian Slagle, talking about seeing Iron Maiden for the first time of the 300 plus times he's seen Maiden over the years. But today is really special. It's when we welcome our fifth guest of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and one that is particularly important for me and Jackson in that he was part of one of the most important, if not the most important band in our formative years getting into rock and roll due to their presence on MTV and rock radio. And that's Stewart Copeland of The Police, founding member, drummer of The Police, who's not only an amazing batterista, but he's also a composer of symphonies, operas, movie scores, and he's hilarious. He's a funny guy. Very smart. His father helped form the CIA back in the day, and he lived in places like Egypt and Lebanon before he moved to London, got into the punk scene, became Clark Kent, and eventually teamed up with a couple of other guys to form a little trio called The Police, whose album, Synchronicity, remains one of the biggest and most important pieces of our lives as it relates to rock and roll and the formation of our tastes and our love for this music. Now, why would Stewart Copeland just come on The Wolf? It's not just because we're one of the greatest rock podcasts on the planet. It's because he's still working. This comes out the day before he kicks off the Paralympic Games in Italy as a performer during the opening ceremonies. And then this spring, he runs through a tour of American cities that have orchestras called the Police Deranged for Orchestra. And yes, we are going to review that performance here on the show. Performance is in April. I don't know if it'll be in April or early May, but we will definitely be reviewing the show. He also has a fun speaking tour titled Have I Said Too Much, where he tells his old police war stories, but he does it with a panache and a comedy that's a lot of fun. And we ask him about all those things, including making those old police videos and coming up, living around the world, and what it gave to him. He's an amazing interview. If you've ever seen or heard a Stewart Copeland interview before, you already know this. He is smart. He is funny. He is gregarious. It may not have been fun for Sting to be around him back in the day, but for 45 minutes, he's a lot of fun. He's a great interview, and we're going to talk to him about all that stuff here shortly. But first, we do have a little business to take care of. We love to mention we are proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a family of over 100 different shows. You can learn more at pantheonpodcast.com or follow on socials at Pantheon Pods. And you know we're going to give a shout out to our intergalactic sponsor, rarevinyl.com, who is based in the UK, folks, but they ship all over the world and they procure collections from all over the world. And yes, they do have some cool police-related stuff. And the beauty part is they gave us a code, UGLY, UGLY, that if you use at checkout, you can save 10% off one entire order. Not just one album, but one entire order. So if you want original pressings of all the Police albums, go find them at rarevinyl.com. Go find some rare picture discs. Go find rare import singles that you can't find anywhere else. And use the code UGLY and save a big fat 10%. So visit rarevinyl.com, use the code UGLY, save 10%. Your record collection will thank you. Now back to Stewart Copeland. I don't think he needs a whole lot more introduction. He's one of the most celebrated drummers of all time. If you grew up in the early MTV era like we did, the Police were on all the time. You couldn't miss them. You couldn't miss Stewart banging away behind the drums. And if you've seen any of the movies like Everybody Stares or any of the Police documentaries, you know that Stewart wasn't just a guy who hit the drums. He was an integral part of every piece of the band, its formation, their booking, their signing, their photos, everything. He was very much a big part of it. And then he kind of let Sting handle all the songwriting, which kind of works out for everybody. And we're still talking about it today. So let's go. We're talking to Stewart Copeland of the Police here on The Wolf.
You know, a lot of the people that we think about, especially from the 80s, like 70s into the 80s, they would always say, well, who did you want to be? Oh, I wanted to be John Bonham, right?
Right.
Doing research for this, I would think that next wave, every single person, like the Taylor Hawkins of the world in that age range, Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, they're all going to say Stewart Copeland. Every single one of them that plays rock drums is going to tell you he was the one that changed the game. He was the one that played stuff that you're like, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how you thought of that. But it's phenomenal.
Yeah, even Jason Bonham told his father that he wanted to be like Stewart Copeland.
Right.
Said it to his face. Crazy. Although not really, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, it's really not. And to think that it was kind of a product of the environment, like they were talking about walking on the moon. Like there's really not a whole lot there. There's that boom, ba-dum, and then ring, bum, ba-dum, ring. So he's got all kinds of space to get in there and just do freaky things, like use delay pedals and everything on a drum. You're going to use a delay on a drum. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? I don't know, but okay, cool. And it sucked too because they were talking about, I think it was, what's his name from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Chad Smith. He was like, you didn't know anything about that. You didn't know about delay, and you're trying to figure out how the holy hell to play this thing. It never came out right because you don't have the same equipment. He's using things that you don't even know exist in making this sound.
I see a face. I do not hear a voice.
I'm not saying anything.
There you go.
Probably better off that way.
This is an audio show, though, but so anything you could do to help us out on that, we would appreciate.
All right, okay, I'll make some noise.
Thank you, Stewart Copeland. I'm Mac B, the Wolf. That's Action Jackson. Welcome to the Ugly American Werewolf in London, and thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you very much. I spent, I think, 20 years as an American werewolf in London myself.
Yeah, I hear you even attended a certain school that my daughter attended for a few years there.
What, the American school in London?
That's right. Once an eagle, always an eagle.
Oh, I didn't know they had an eagle. My son went there, too, and he had the same math teacher as me.
Is that right?
Mr. Morton. Ask your daughter about Mr. Morton.
We left when she was in the second grade. I don't know if she got to your level quite yet, but...
Yeah, well, I was only there for one term anyway.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's great. First of all, Stewart, you're playing the opening ceremonies at the Paralympic Games. That's an amazing gig. Tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
Well, actually, it's a little more humble than that. I'm banging stuff for maybe four. I got 4 bars. Then another drummer has 4 bars, and then I have 1 bar, then she has 1 bar. Then we played 2 bars together, and that's my work is done. At the very beginning, it's in Verona. In Italy, and I'll be up on the old ancient Colosseum there, way up high, banging stuff. That's it. I'm not a composer, by the way. My good friend Vittorio Cosma is the composer. I'm just banging stuff.
Gotcha. You are a composer. You just didn't compose.
I am a composer.
Yes.
I'm not the composer of this.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's amazing. Have you ever been to the Olympics before, like as a spectator?
No, not as a spectator. Or, my wife is addicted to the ice skating, which leaves me completely cold.
Yes.
I'm more into curling.
Me too, brother. Yes, absolutely.
I don't know anything about it, but it's so obscure that I could definitely, I don't know anything about it, but I could definitely become a fanatic. Now that is a sport.
Yes, especially when you mix in the controversy. Perhaps there was
somebody touched it after they let it go, and then their finger made contact with it. Disgraceful, reprehensible.
Right.
I'm not sure who I hate as a result of this iniquity. but I let it cease and let honesty prevail in the world of curling. And the other thing about it is it's Canadian. What's not to love?
Right.
Exactly. It's friendly, everyone's going to be nice about it, even win or lose. Yeah.
Eh?
So you cheated, eh? Yeah, Will, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get more to serious matters. We are going to be seeing you do your Police Deranged for Orchestra bit here in Louisville in April.
Oh, yeah.
And can't wait. And I don't want to have any spoilers. I want to be excited about it, but I'm bringing the whole family. Everyone's excited. So can you tell us a little bit more about this, how this crept into your brain?
Well, y'all in Louisville, you got a big bad orchestra there. It's one of the big orchestras of the country is right there in Louisville.
That's right.
And this is police songs that but can I use language here? I have
Absolutely.
fucked them all up.
And how so?
And I took improvisations that we did on stage, extrapolations, also in the studio, recordings of guitar solos that we ended up not using and so on, and I reintroduced those to the songs. So the big parts that you're all familiar with are still there, surrounded by other stuff that is very police because it derives from the police. It's not just my personal diseased brain desecrating this stuff. And then add the orchestra, and it's a completely different environment. And for vocals, I have 3 soul singers on the mic, which is, you can't replace Sting with some guy,
right?
But these 3 women are amazing. And it's sort of like watching police songs performed by the Supremes with a big bad orchestra. And me banging shit.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Well, yeah. Well, me banging stuff keeps it lively.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the 3 ladies on the mic keep it pretty.
Now, you put out a recording of this a couple of years ago, 2023 maybe. There's a recording.
I wish I'd recorded it now because the show has gotten so much slicker and better.
Okay, because I will say when I heard this original idea, I'm like, oh, they're remaking police songs. I love them so much. I don't know if I want to... but to hear them, it's fantastic. And Murder by Numbers is
that's a weird one.
That's very sexy.
Well, I mean, it's an obscure song. It's not a hit by any means. It was not even on any of our albums until the re-releases. It was the B-side. I forget what it was a B-side of. But on stage, it burns down the house. That's one of the biggest tunes of the set.
It's phenomenal. You were talking about Sting singing these deals. The female voice lends really well to that song in particular. It's very cool. It's got a cool kind of sexy horns at the beginning. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, since it's an orchestra show, don't be fooled into thinking it's classical. It's orchestral by golly, but it's me banging. It's a very lively show. It's not a wimpy version of police songs. It's Ramalama.
Yeah,
we go for the jugular. I've been playing it all over the world now. Mm-hmm. I thought that as you were thinking, oh no, sacrilege upon these police songs, and I was afraid people would be coming after me with pitchforks.
Yeah,
but no, people seem pretty happy with it.
Well, that's good to hear. We can't wait to hear it ourselves. We'll be talking about it here on the show. Somewhere else we might see you this summer is on your speaking tour, Have I Said Too Much? Now, do you relate more? I mean, look, you've done the movie, right, about the police. You've done all sorts of interviews about your life in and out of the band. Are you dropping new nuggets, or is this more like, okay, look, I know what is real and what isn't. I'm going to lay the truth on you now. Is it different?
Well, have I said too much? Probably. And if I haven't, I soon will.
Yes.
These are war stories that I've told a million times to folks such as yourselves.
Yeah.
And often it's the same war stories that people are most interested in hearing. How'd you meet Sting? How'd you meet Andy?
Right.
What's up, with this or with that? And so it's all that stuff, but I've kind of honed it, and I've discovered in my 70-something year that I'm pretty good at talking to a room. And it's a lot less strenuous than banging shit.
Yeah.
And I get the laughs. I just, I was at a dinner party sitting next to one of the Python guys, Eric Idle, who said that laughter is a drug and he's addicted to it. Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah.
I was experimenting at first. Now I just got to get that room laughing. And, you develop, and it's about the timing. And I have a newfound respect for stand-up comedians who do that. They got no drums, no guitar, no song, just go out there and talk at them and bring the house down. That's a pretty cool thing. I never had any idea that I'd be any good at that until somebody pushed me out onto the stage.
Yeah, no, and you're very good at it. You're great on socials. Here's the thing about comedians, though. If a comedian comes out and says, I'm only going to do jokes from 1978 to 1983 and nothing new, people probably wouldn't come out. Whereas if a band or, the Rolling Stones did that, people would line up in droves for it,
Yeah, they want to hear that song again.
Yeah, that's right.
That's true. That is very true that a gag doesn't work. A gag doesn't play.
30 years later is not quite the same, right?
No, although I'm still chuckling at some of the dumb shit I would laughed at as a kid.
Of course. I hope so. Yeah, no doubt about it. So what's a bigger rush for you then? Hearing the roar of the crowd as you play one of the big Police songs, or getting that laugh from the audience as you're relating a story?
Well, they're both similar intensity. When I play shows with the orchestra, it's a bigger room.
Right.
And so it's more people shouting. But that, smaller room, 500-600 people in a little obscure theater in an obscure town has got a buzz to it. And the response is the same exhilaration. Talking is fun, but I come off stage from the talk tour thinking, okay, my work is done. I have a nice satisfied feeling. But when I come off stage from a concert, man, the endorphins are pumping. First mission is straight into the shower. And that is one of the happiest places on the planet for me. My happy place is in the shower after a show.
After a gig.
Is a happy place. So, but the day of a show is not so great. I got to worry. Is my hands hurting? Is my arthritis in my thumb? Should I have eaten that? I'm feeling a little, there's all kinds of neuroses. You become any artist, I think. Gene Simmons says he's just like walking in a room, turning on a light. Well, that takes 40, 50 years of treading the boards before you get that kind of nonchalance. But most of us, we feel it. That day you got to take care of yourself because you got to play a show. For the talking thing, who cares? I can have a giant 3-course meal. I can go jogging. I can wear myself out physically any which way. I don't care if my knees are hurting. Who cares? All I got to do is talk at them. And it's a lot easier. And so the day is a much better day. But the endorphins afterwards are not quite the same as you get from banging shit.
Gotcha.
I can imagine, too, it's got to be a different deal being by yourself on the spoken word tour versus being in charge of all of these people with the orchestra. Because, you're the leader of that band.
Well, a concert day with the orchestra, begins at 2:00. I arrive at the hall and I meet the orchestra, whether it's the Louisville or the Cleveland or the Nashville Philharmonic, whatever, 50 guys. Hello, how y'all doing? And we rehearse for 2.5 hours. And we're ready for show that night. Doors at 7.
Wow.
Okay.
Orcs can do that. Rock band, you need 6 weeks to rehearse.
That's right.
You meet them, and 6 weeks later, you got a show. With the Louisville, I will be meeting them at 2:00, and we'll be ready for show a couple hours later.
Yeah.
It goes, but there's a sound check. There's crew. There's my people. There's getting there. There's 2.5 hours hard slot. Basically, I got to play the whole set a couple times before even the audience comes in. And so it's very, it's a lot of work that day. It's a hard working day. And so by the time I get in the shower, I've had a day's work. With the talk tour, I roll out of bed any old time. I rock up to the hall. Maybe there's no sound check. There's no crew. There's no rehearsal. There's nothing. I get there 5:00, maybe shake a few hands, do a little meet and greet, go out on stage, tell jokes and hang with the folks. And I'm back in the car by 10:00. It's an easy day. I don't need no shower after talking.
Right.
I can wear the same T-shirt for the whole day. Playing a concert is a 3 T-shirt day.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt. Yeah, I mean, even the crowd these days, for me, it's at least a 2 T-shirt day.
Yeah.
The only thing is, when you play these with the orchestra, these are seasoned professionals who are playing your music, so they have to try to make you happy. Whereas maybe if you're with your old band and the singer needs to tune it down a step because he can't sing it the same way, suddenly you have more work to do.
Well, there's negotiations. And, my latest riff is those guys, man, they just want to shut me down. They want to clip my wings. They want to restrain my fire, extinguish my fire. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, you need that
because, what people like, what people say they like about my stuff is the simplicity, the sleek economy of it. Well, folks, that wasn't my idea.
Summers and Sumner had some import on that.
Yes. Actually, no, Andy very much so as well. Andy was the quality control. He was the, he was always the guy to say, nah, I've heard that before. That's lame. Let's dig deeper. But with the orchestra, with the orcs, their entire ethos is obedience to the page. Whatever squiggles, whatever nuance I put on the chart, the score, they live to reproduce every tenuto, every articulation, everything. And I put a lot of information on the page. I don't just tell them what notes to play. You put how to play them as well. The attitude. A melody isn't da 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 da. It's da 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 da. How shall they play it? And so the orcs live to reproduce the page perfectly because they don't know what the other 50 guys are doing. The flautist looks at her score and she only has her flute part on it. And then she sees 8 bars rest. She's staring off into space. She doesn't know what anyone else is doing. Right. She doesn't know what the trombone is doing. But she knows that if she plays what's on her score meticulously to the letter, to the every nuance, to the smallest staccato dot, she knows that if she plays her part, combined with all those other 50 musicians, they will be the mighty Louisville Orchestra.
Right.
And so that's where their self-esteem lies and how faithfully they can reproduce what they see on the page. You will not find this sentiment in rock musicians. Their deal is that they bring, show them the basic riff and they'll take it from there. Don't tell them how to play the riff because you will get a guitar, you will get a Stratocaster landing on your head, which is one of the great distinctions between rock musicians and orchestral players.
Well, this is Drummer Week on The Wolf, as we have recently interviewed Jay Shellen of Yes, who not only grew up admiring your style, but he said he once played in Colorado with one of his early bands. They played upstairs while you played downstairs or something like that while you're in the police. He had a question. He wants to know what drummers early on influenced your own truly unique and recognizable syncopations, because that was what has immensely drawn him to your style.
Well, the big names, but my daddy raised me to be a jazz musician, equals right. Buddy Rich, of course. And the music kind of left me, it didn't really work for me because around about that time, a guy came on with his guitar called Jimi Hendrix, and that was it for trumpets and trombones. But Buddy Rich still is there as a great towering figure. So the drummer that actually had the most influence on me, and every time I listen to Jimi Hendrix, I think, oh, shit, that's where I got that lick that I thought I invented. No, it all came from Mitch Mitchell.
Wow.
Mitch Mitchell did have a heck of a guitarist to inspire him, but Mitch Mitchell was the number uno one. Bonham came a little bit later, and I wasn't so much influenced by Bonham. Keith Moon was a train wreck.
Right.
With occasional moments that were transcendental.
Right.
But it was Mitch Mitchell. Let's I give it all to Mitch Mitchell.
Very good. He was hoping for Carlton Carly Bennett from the Wailers as maybe a minor influence.
Of course. I stole all kinds of shit from the Jamaicans, just like everybody else. But the other influence was Carlton combined with growing up in the Arabic world, surrounded by Arabic culture and Arabic music, which has that backwards reggae feel with the emphasis on the third beat, the bar,
right.
and so on. I won't bore your listeners with the techniques of it, but that parallel rhythmic signature allowed me to steal from Carlton and the other Jamaicans with a lot more ease and comfort, because I didn't so much steal directly. I just kind of was inspired by them, but right. It fit right as an overlay on top of the Arabic music that was in my DNA. So definitely I got to give it up to the Jamaicans. But there was my X factor, my secret sauce was Arabic music.
Gotcha. And you lived in Cairo and then Beirut for a while?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
My family was there long before I was born even. I was born in America, but left when I was 2 months old and grew up in the Arabic world.
It's amazing. And it's something I wish more Americans would understand. I mean, I gave my daughter the gift of living in Europe for a while because I thought, don't just live in America and be an American, go see the big world. And so she has friends all over the world, and she's a pretty empathetic person. And I feel like the Americans who are just American, always American, never left America, they just have a lot less understanding of what's out there.
Yeah, and who cares though, really? Because America is a very rich and complex. There's plenty to pick up culturally without leaving America. This is a big place with a lot of different kinds of people and a lot of different culture right here. But I mean, yeah, your daughter definitely would have expanded her horizons to be in contact with European culture directly rather than secondhand, and so on. So just because, look at Stingo grew up in Newcastle, cultural wasteland,
Right.
and look what culture came from him with very little input. There's sure a hell of a lot of output. So somebody who grew up in America only needn't feel that they missed all that much.
But did Mr. Sumner, was he intimidated by your worldliness when you all first met?
No.
No?
Sting, intimidated? That's not a thing.
At all?
No.
Really? A humble teacher from Newcastle versus this young American. Yeah.
No. Outwardly, there's no such.
Right.
But I learned years later during the reunion tour in band therapy, I learned that behind this facade, this Mount Rushmore facade, there is a quivering soul. Mm-hmm. And it's that quivering soul that produces the emotional impact of those songs that he wrote. If he was that statue, which is what I always saw him as, this impregnable fortress, he wouldn't have come up with that emotion, that empathy, that, those songs are deep, deep in emotion. But the facade, it took me, I don't know, I knew him for 30 years before I had any idea that there was something else going behind that facade.
Well, I just figured he must have been a little intimidated, not only a little bit by you, but you're around his age, a little younger. But then, okay, this drummer's driving me nuts. Who do I go to? The manager? Oh, no, wait, that's his older brother, who is also very worldly.
No, he didn't go to the manager. He went straight to the source of the problem. Me!
And just got in your grill?
Yeah. Well, it was kind of mutual. We got up each other's grill, We now understand through band therapy, we understand what it was all about, which is that we're on two entirely unrelated missions. I don't bang my drums. I didn't wake up in the morning trying to be Mitch Mitchell and inspired to play on my drums to support somebody's song. Song? Fuck that. Somebody wrote a song which I can use to make me sound good.
That's right.
There's this, the general rule of thought, the general state of play is that all the musicians on a record, they're there to serve the song. Not me. No. No. I mean, I did great work. I mean, you need good songs, songs like the gasoline for the car. The car's not going anywhere without that song. But the purpose of the mission is not the song. The purpose of the thing is the band. And the song is there to make the band look good, not the other way around. And I realize I'm in a very small minority with this viewpoint. And I can have this viewpoint from my lofty position of being retired and not giving a fuck. Yeah. But for me, banging shit is what it's for. And the song is there to give me something cool to play on. And Jimi Hendrix is the perfect example. None of his songs are exactly Hey Jude or Every Breath You Take. They are a means by which Jimmy and Mitch, and to a certain extent, Noel, could do really insanely inspiring stuff.
Hi, this is Jay Shellen from Yes, and you're listening to The Ugly American Werewolf in London. Don't miss that.
So what was it that you exactly meant when you said, when Andy joined the band, then it wasn't my band anymore? Is because he had so much experience?
No. That's not quite right. When Andy joined the band, I wasn't the sole manager anymore.
Ah, gotcha.
I now had to run decisions past Andy, who'd been around the block more times than me.
That's right. Yeah.
And Stingo goes home, writes his. He doesn't want to know where I got the truck. He doesn't want to know who I had to call to book the gig. Right. He didn't want to know. That's not why he is on this planet. That's my job.
Right.
And then when Andy joined, he also. So we do a photo shoot, and instead of me just picking the shot, well, wait a minute, let me have a look. Mm-hmm. And so now I got to negotiate with, and this sounds like I'm complaining, but actually it was a relief to have two minds into it rather than me just kind of making all the decisions. I now had somebody who knew what he was talking about, somebody with an experience in show business.
He did.
And so it was a great asset. But the other leadership factor, which some people don't appreciate, is that when Andy joined, it was not his managerial participation that had much impact on the band. Okay, so there's two of us choosing the shots from the photo shoot, but no, it was his musical vocabulary. He had command of harmony, and he expanded what the guitar could do, both sonically and harmonically and melodically. And that's what the penny dropped in Old Stingo. That's when he started to write those hits, was when Andy joined the band. And it was that language, that vocabulary, that expanded vocabulary that meant Sting could now write songs. That we had a guitarist who could play them.
Right.
And so that's when another leadership factor entered in, which is I've still got all my diaries from 77, 78, and so on. And I published them as a book,
Right.
Police Diaries. And in compiling all these materials, I found my old set lists from 1976. And at first in the band, they're in my handwriting, and all my crap punk songs that were songs of convenience,
Okay.
2-chord, actually with the Police, we could play, we had 4 chords, A, E, A, and D. We had the G as well, which is in punk world is verging on jazz.
Right.
And but when Sting started writing songs, and I think his first song might have been Born in the 50s. Okay. Wow, that's now our best song. Fucking Out Goes Clown's Revenge. All these crap, and as these songs were coming in, and the band is getting better, and we have better material, Sting's now leaning in, and now the set lists are in his handwriting. And I was so relieved, because I'm a younger sibling. I don't need to be the boss. Right. I want things to happen, so I'm a worker, and I'll make shit happen. I'll shake the tree, but I don't need to be the boss. And when Sting started leaning in and taking charge, that meant I could relax. I could breathe. I'm no longer dragging him through the hedge backwards by his ankles. He's now leaning in, and leadership, schmeedership, I don't care. As long as he's like now on it and motivated without me having to talk and drag him along. 4, 5, 6.
Well, it just seemed from the outside looking in, just the way I would characterize it, it seemed like Sting had a lot of buttons and you had a lot of fingers.
Man, I couldn't see any of those buttons. I was looking for them furiously.
Well,
I didn't think I could. It turned out I was hitting them all along.
All the time.
Without even realizing, because that impassive face, I was there with my javelin looking for chinks in the armor, of course. I'm an open book, smack me in the face and I'll fall over backwards. No rocket science involved. But Stingo with that armor plating, it turned out years later, I found out that every poke of the javelin found its mark. He just didn't show it.
Well done, I guess.
So you talked about being a big fan of Buddy Rich and Mitch Mitchell. How does it feel now to be the guy who gave everything to these younger generation? I mean, everybody who plays the drums now, it seems like Stewart Copeland is, if not number one, in the top 3.
It's mystifying. It really is, because when I was a kid, I was impressed by chops. I didn't have the class or discernment to appreciate Charlie Watts or Ringo Starr, who I very much appreciate now because of their class, because of their economy and their creativity that wasn't about hitting as many drums as possible within a second. And so similarly, I don't have the chops. I'm not one of those chop monsters. There's guys out there with chops, there's 12-year-olds out there. And so the fact that people somehow land on what I do or did, which isn't really on the face of it Ramalama impressive, I think it's kind of cool that people are able to discern. And like I say, the thing they like about it is the restraint, which I don't get any credit for. Without the other 2 blonde heads, there would have been no restraint.
Well, no, I mean, I went to see Jason Bonham this past year, and he's telling a story. He went up to his dad. He went up to John Bonham and said, Stewart Copeland is way better than you, Dad. This isn't like 1979 or 1980. What's it like to now be friends with some of these, big-time
Jason
drummers?
told me. Jason told me that his dad agreed.
No.
Okay, I got one for you. That's an even bigger. Well, that's a pretty big brag right there. Okay, we'll just wallow in that for a minute. But I got another. Okay,
all right.
I gave Buddy Rich my autograph.
Whoa.
A little moment of radio silence there while that sinks in. Okay, I gave Buddy Rich my autograph. Okay. Wow. All right. The backstory. Okay, we're at the Grammys backstage, and this best place to be, really. That's where the party is backstage at the Grammys. Tout le monde is there, and I see Buddy Rich in the flesh in the crowded area there, and he's sort of walking in my general direction. You know, when you're whale watching and you see a whale go and you try and get your boat in front of where they're going to be. So I maneuver myself to in his, you know, path of where he's going to end up, you know, hoping that he might pass. And wait, he's walking up to me. He's talking to me. Words are coming. He's addressing me personally, and he's holding out a piece of paper. He says, "Sign this."
Okay.
Fuck. And these words are resonating through my head, and I'm busy bowing and genuflecting and, you know, severe obeisance, and I'm shaking as I sign this piece of paper. You know, not my best work. You know, a little bit of a shaky autograph there, and I see that it's his daughter, Kathy's with him. It's for my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and he walks away, and I'm beginning to calm down. I'm beginning to breathe normally again. And then I fucking gave Buddy fucking Rick fucking Itch my fucking auto fucking graph. Hello. Whether it's for his daughter or not, he's got my autograph in her pocket. But you know, take that, Neil Peart. And by the way, there's a bit of a grudge there with one of my best friends on the planet, Neil, is that one of the indignities of my life. Okay, you've heard two of my big brags. John Bonham thinks I was cool, and Buddy Rich had to get my autograph for his daughter. But the downside, being me, is that folks come up and they say, "Oh man, I can't! Oh my God, it's you! You're my second favorite drummer." It's always fucking Neil.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I remember, I think they were in the studio, maybe recording Permanent Waves or something like that. And they asked Neil, "Who are you listening to?" And he says, "The Police." That's not for Sting's melodies, man. That's because Game recognizes Game. So you started as Mutual Admiration Society members, and then you became friends. And that's awesome.
Yeah. He came over here a lot to the Sacred Grove and jammed a lot. And Taylor, too. Many happy jams with those guys. And you know, there are these polls by Rolling Stone and others, you know, top 10 drummers of all time. Right. Nice to be included.
Of course.
But I look there and Mitch Mitchell's not on there, which means it's all bullshit.
I know.
And, you know, day after tomorrow, some kid will, you know, there's 10 people who can eat my lunch right now. So it's all kind of rubbish, and you just bang stuff. And if you get recognized for it, wallow in it.
I mean, but do people like Mike Portnoy come up to you now and be like, "Oh, you're the man," or, you know, we got to do something together or anything like that?
Well, we all do that, by the way. We all do that. Whenever we meet anybody, Carmen Apogee, "Oh man, love your work.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we get along with each other so nicely. Drummers get along better with each other than guitarists.
Why do you think that is?
Because we're smarter and more humble and have larger, you know, character and everything. It's a character thing, I think. Whereas guitarists are jealous of each other. I'm having fun. I love guitarists.
No.
All your guitarist listeners out there, I love you. I value your work.
They're show ponies, you're workhorses, and that's the difference.
That's right. We carry the entire band all the way down the highway, is on the shoulders of the drummer. I once made this complaint to a producer buddy of mine, Trevor Horn, and I said, we're carrying the band. They hardly break a sweat. We're working, and
right.
They can go on stage in a cape and feathers and shit. We got to wear a t-shirt. That's it, because we're working here, right. And the producer very empathetically says, yes. I hate it when the drummer gets tired.
Can we get him a snack or something, maybe?
Yeah.
No, well, speaking of drummers, though, we had another drummer on, Carl Palmer.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, that's a guy that I grew up with. The first ELP album, he was a big hero of mine.
I can imagine that he was. And then he was working with Godley and Creme in Asia about the same time you were working with them in the Police. He said it was a bit, I think he said monkeys. It was bananas, monkeys, doing those videos. What was your recollection of doing those Synchronicity videos with them?
They were the artist and we were just the monkeys.
Is that right?
And they had these, Every Breath You Take is all concept. Stand here, look that direction, and they would get this incredible photography and composition of each shot. And they were art. Before Godley and Creme, our videos were just, we'd go somewhere exotic and they'd hose us down with cameras while we danced around like the monkeys. And it was that daft, which is crap for drummers because, the singer can sing into the camera. The guitarist can strap on an unplugged-in guitar, just strum on his guitar. What's a drummer supposed to do? You're standing out in a park somewhere, scenic, and sort of groove around and pretend to be singing the choruses, which in my case I'm not.
Right.
Or look mildly peevish while you groove to the music.
What?
That's a crap gig.
You say that though, but what was the one where you're on the train, So Lonely? and you're playing, you're walking down the street, you're playing, there's that old Japanese man, he's no, and then you go back and play a little more, no, please, please, not right now.
It's fun.
Well, I got to bang something.
Right.
At one point, I hit it with a giant fish.
That's right.
Oh, that's fun. I mean, was it just work? I mean, Synchronicity too, with all the stuff everywhere, looked like it might have been fun. I don't know.
It was utter misery.
Oh, no.
The last two albums were hell on earth. We were recording in paradise on an emerald isle in the Caribbean with the waves gently lapping the shores and the palm trees waving in the wind. And, and the only fly in the ointment was us three assholes driving, turning this paradise into a living hell. And it was murder. It was hell recording those last two albums. And we now realize through band therapy that struggle was what made it work.
Well, I was among millions of others around the world were so happy that you did get back together during that time. Saw you at 3 different venues in the U.S. at great personal expense. But it sounds like at the beginning, it was a little rough. I remember reading your blog or your daily report saying, we are the mighty police and we are astray or adrift or something like that.
Oh, shit. You read that.
Oh, I read it, bud. Yeah.
Oh, so did the best of the band.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It took a minute for the penny to drop because I thought the police had been forgotten 30 years ago.
No.
I'd forgotten about it. I'd been a film composer for 20 years. And the last thing on my resume when I'm going for a job interview with Oliver Stone is that the rock star thing. No, Mr. Stone, because the film composer is an employee. It's a job interview.
That's right.
And I'm not a rock star. I'm your composer, And so I forgot all about it. And so we did our first show and, I had a tiny little site, an Italian fan site with 10 followers. And I wrote my own little funny review of the show where we fucked up. The Mighty Police fucked up. And it wasn't the first show. I mean, it's maybe show 3, which is where every band fucks up on show 3 of a tour, And you're getting complacent by then. Oopsie daisy, forgot that, this. And oh gosh darn it. And that was the atmosphere. How funny. It was still, we burned down the house. Goes without saying. But my other 2 colleagues did not take kindly to this self-deprecating humor. And boy, I was in the doghouse for days.
That's interesting. And not shocking either, I guess not, no. Well, so which film, I couldn't tell you how, because I'm such a huge Police fan. MTV comes on, Jackson and I see the Police, like, this is our band, they're awesome, going to be fans for life. Then you guys break up. So I'm like, God damn it. But then every once in a while, I would see your name on Wall Street or Rumblefish or maybe a TV show like The Equalizer or something. I'd be like, hey, Stewart Copeland did this. I would instantly be more engaged and focusing more on the music than versus just another score. I don't mean financially. I mean as an artist, as rewarding as being in a band like the Police playing stadiums.
Well, now, Police playing stadiums is a lot of fun. Being in a band recording a Police album that millions are going to enjoy is not fun because you're not thinking of how people are going to enjoy it. You're just thinking of, when will this moment be over? When can I get off this fucking island? And then the contrast of getting off that damn island and going to San Rafael, California, and hanging and working with Francis Coppola, who is the kind and genial, and the entire world of music is my business, and I don't have to negotiate with anybody. I'm working for Francis, but he's a happy guy, and he says, great. He doesn't tell me to play a drum fill or not to play a drum. It either suits his emotional needs for the emotional messaging of his film or scene or not. And that's all he cares about. He doesn't care how I achieve that emotional messaging. So when I went from Montserrat, actually from Montreal, where we mixed the albums, it went from there to the warm, loving embrace of Francis Coppola, where I'm in the studio playing all the instruments myself, no negotiation, no abuse, no tension, just all love and art and creativity. Oh my God. It was just, I'd forgotten how much fun it is to make music in a studio. So that's why I spent the next 10 years, not as a rock star, but as a hired gun film composer, because it's a lot of fun. It's very engrossing musically. The film composer is not an artist. He's a craftsman serving the art of the director. suits me fine.
Well, that's great. That's wonderful. to
But
hear,
then
actually.
again, the only problem is that the business, the film industry sucks. You know, working for Disney, you know, which we all refer to as the Rat Kingdom,
Right.
is no party. And so I got out of it. I made my escape from Hollywood. I don't score films anymore, but I do the same work, which is drama and storytelling. I mean, music and storytelling, but it's called opera.
Opera.
And I know that's kind of a conversation stopper, right? What the fuck? Opera? Are you
Well, thanks for
kidding
coming
me?
on, Mr. Copeland, and all the best.
Yeah. No, but it's a building with a stage and a pit where you can put the orchestra and singers who can sing it, and a front office to make shit happen. It's a whole collection of assets, of resources to tell stories with music. And the best part is the composer gets to be boss of everything. You know, film is a director's medium. Everyone serves the director's artistic vision. In television, it's the writer even the director is just a traffic cop for the writer's vision. But in opera, it's the composer's shit. Yeah.
That's the composer right there, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stewart Copeland.
One thing before we leave, I just have to tell you this, that the first record I ever bought as a 10-year-old was Synchronicity.
Yep.
So there it is right there.
There it is.
You helped push me and millions of other people on this love affair with music. So thank you so much.
And I'll be taking my daughter to see you April 17th in Louisville, Police Deranged, and Ludlow Garage in Cincinnati. Have I said too much this summer?
Cool. And I just learned something.
And what is that?
I'm going to be playing a show in a place called Louisville.
Louisville. Yeah, Louisville.
Louisville.
Yeah, Luavul. That's Louisville.
I will see you all down there in Louisville.
Thank you, Stewart. Hey, thanks for everything over the years. And hey, keep doing it, man. You're not going to stop, are you?
No. Thanks for listening.
Always will.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Stewart.
Sure thing. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Hi, this is Carl Palmer, and you're listening to The Ugly American Werewolf.
The guy is 73 or something like that. He is full of energy. He is fucking hilarious.
And it doesn't seem like he takes himself too seriously either. Like the whole, like, well, you know, I don't know, whatever. But now, dude, every single person that plays rock drums since you put out your records is inspired by you. Well, I really just kind of play. No, you don't. You changed the game. And everybody has been trying to be you since that time.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, blah. Drummers Hall of Fame, yeah, whatever. Third biggest grossing tour of all time, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Although, can you imagine that, though? Like, you come in, scoop-a-dip-boop-boop. What did you write? Oh, shit. Oh, boy. We didn't do that. What, you know, it was just kind of it was a joke, and,
Dude, okay, if the Metallica can make some kind of monster and go through their band therapy, I would pay so much more to watch the Police band therapy in 2007 or 8 or whatever that was. I would pay so much more than I paid to see them, which was 4 figures anyway.
And that's interesting, too, about when he was talking about he always thought Sting was this, you know, impenetrable, made of stone, and then you realize, oh man, you know, we did this, like that kind of hurt his feelings. Like I didn't mean to, but I mean, like you said, it looked like he was always trying to piss him off, but it apparently no, it was just, you know, he was just being me and fooling around, and he got hurt by that. Sorry, maybe you should have said something 30 years ago.
Well, that's the way those tough guys are. They hurt on the inside, not on the outside. He's really good looking. You know, he's an incredible songwriter, so he can't show weakness. You know, that's not going to get him anywhere.
Right.
I still believe he had to have been intimidated by the Copeland brothers. By all of them.
Yeah,
right?
probably. Because I mean, again, like you said, I've been all over the world. I'm coming, you know, I'm getting this from the Lebanese music, and you're thinking, I don't know Lebanese music. I don't know anything about anything. Maybe I should just shut up and pretend.
Right. Oh, well, I have a problem with the drummer. I'll go to the manager. Oh, wait, that's his big brother, Miles. Okay, well, maybe I'll go to the guy who books our gigs. Oh, wait, that's his other brother, Ian. You know, like, he's surrounded by the Copelands. You know, he can't wait to get out from under them all of a sudden, even though it's like, if you think, hey, you're going to have these 3 brothers who've been around the world who are really fucking smart. Right. They're going to help break your band. Most people are like, yes, sign me up. And then after 2 or 3 years, things like, how do I extricate myself from these fucking Americans? To say that it's a dream come true for me and Jackson to speak with Stewart Copeland of the Police is probably putting it mildly. For those who didn't grow up in the early 80s and didn't have the thrill of finally getting MTV when other people had it and you didn't, and finally it comes through, and then you get to see it now and then. Parents don't let you just veg in front of MTV all day, right? You got to go out and play, you got to do your homework, whatever. But when those Synchronicity videos came on, that just kind of changed our life, changed the world. Album we had, bought it with our own money or got it for a birthday, still have the cassette or the LP. Still happy when the stuff comes on the radio. Of course, then you go backwards, you hear the other stuff, like, wow, the Police were really awesome for only 3 guys. And Stewart's career is kind of amazing, scoring the movies and the TV shows, doing his tours. He's a funny guy who was fun to engage with, obviously generous with his time, generous with his stories, not afraid to drop an F-bomb here and there, and not sitting still, as most drummers do not. He's going to Italy to open the Paralympic Games. He's coming back to play with orchestras across America. He's going around the nation, telling his police stories to anybody who wants to hear him, and trust me, there's a lot of them, and we'll be there for all that, and you'll hear about it here on The Wolf. So Stewart Copeland, maybe we should have saved you for a 300th show, as we have a tradition of having big guests on around the 50 episodes, but that just means we got to work harder to find someone of his stature 25 shows from now. And we will know, folks, did we get something right? Did we get something wrong? Did we miss the point? Did we leave out your favorite part? Email us and let us know. It's uglyamericanwerewolf@gmail.com. Let us know the bands, the tours, the people you want to hear us interview, the albums, the rock properties you want to hear us talk about here on the show. We need you to download wherever you get your shows, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really want to help us out, guys, please go give us a 5-star review. It just means the world to us. It helps us find more rock and rollers like you. And if you send it our way, we might just read it on an episode. Thanks as always to Pantheon Podcast for making us part of the family. And thanks to our sponsor, rarevinyl.com, where you use the code UGLY, you can save 10% off one entire order. That's it for this week, and it's going to be hard to top that one, at least for me and Jackson, because you don't get to interview your lifelong heroes every day. But there's some amazing albums coming up that are turning 40, turning 50, some good live shows coming up, and some more great memories on First Concert Memories. So you're going to have to stay tuned. And until next time, to all you rockers all around the world, be cool and keep doing what you do to keep rock alive.